There she goes again, snatching me right ball, snatching this shit right off. You see that? The receding hairline, that's what you call snatched. Pony's at it again, and she released, surprisingly, 2 new shades from her foundation line. Not her foundation line, but her lines of cushions right here. As we all know, my favorite #1 cushion of all time, the Everlasting cushion. It's a kind of cushion meant for more dry skin. It's supposed to give you a glow without drying you out. The Coverstay cushion foundation is more for people with really oily skin to help give you that soft, matte, kind of cottony, pillowy skin. They both have really fantastic coverage. I've tested both of them out. I have an individual review on this one, and I also talked about this in my big cushion video. This one I love, as we all know. This one, and I was kind of disappointed by it. If you followed me for a while, you know that even though I have oily skin, I do love a bit of glow, and I love it even more when that glow is a long wearing glow and it doesn't get oily, greasy. Oh my, this is too bright. Is that better? I don't know. So this one hits all the points for me. It's long wearing, has fantastic coverage, covers everything that I need to cover, but it remains really glowy and yada yada yada. This one, although the finish looks absolutely beautiful from the start, it quickly, for me, okay, here's the thing. It quickly starts looking very dry on me. It quickly starts to settle into lines for me. And the thing is, for me, a lot of people don't have that problem. Some people do have that problem where I have fine lines under here, and because of the foil, because it's more matte, if I leave it alone without priming or powdering it, it will set into those lines. And that's the thing. Without primer or powder, for me at least, it kind of by itself, it's no, it's average. But of course, the coverage is still really great. With both of these, a little bit goes a long way. That's the #1 thing that I noticed about these, is that not only does it have great coverage, but just the tiniest amount in there will cover your entire face. So in that sense, I think it's a great bang for your buck. It's not exactly cheap. It's about, depending on where you get it, it ranges from $35 to $40, but you do, of course, you get a refill. So technically you're paying $18 to $20-ish each for the refill and the cushion itself. So, I think it's a great bang for your buck. Originally they had 5 shades. They had Fair, which is the light shade. It's kind of if you're familiar with the Korean foundation coloring system, it's the 13. I've been told that a lot of girls that watch my channel that are very fair skinned, they're from Europe or something, they fit that skin tone. And then there's rosy ivory, and there's natural. Hold on. Then there's rosy ivory and natural ivory. These are kind of the #21s. Rosy ivory being more pink, and natural ivory being more yellow. Then we have the kind of 22. Rosy beige and nude beige. Rosy, of course, pink. Nude being yellow. Nude beige was always my shade, but it was close, but it was always a smidgen, just a smidgen, light, almost if you put sunscreen on, that kind of look. So it wasn't too. I could get away with it. But they recently released a #23 and a #25. Again, if you're familiar with the Korean foundation numbering system, usually it'll be 21, 23, and 25. Sometimes a 13. It varies between brands, but that's generally what most people use here in Korea. Actually, in fact, I believe this is what I'm just thinking in my head. Before Buff and Sand, which are the new shades, came out, I don't really think they had the numbers next to it. It was always just Fair, Rose Ivory, Natural Ivory, etc., etc. But now that they have the 2 new shades, then they added the numbers. I'm a 23, so I guess that explains why Nude Beige looked a little too light, because it's a 22. Anyway, I keep talking. I'm gonna swatch the new shades for you, and I'll also swatch the shades that I used originally in Nude Beige, which is the color that I was using before. So that was Nude Beige, Buff, and Sand in the Everlasting Cushion formula. Nude Beige, my original shade, is described as a calm medium beige. Buff, the middle one, which is what I'm thinking is my actual shade, is described as a calm toned down beige. And then this last one, Sand, the deepest one, they describe it as a healthy tanning beige. What I'm thinking is Hyun from Sistar. You know how she's that tan goddess out of all the idols. I'm thinking it's kind of that color. And now I swatched the Coverstay cushion foundations for you. Again, Nude Beige, Buff, and Sand. They're pretty similar in color, which is a good thing. What I did notice though is that the Coverstay cushion, the one more for oily skin, does swatch a little bit lighter, but when it's set, it gets a little bit darker. So that's one thing that I noticed. But when they're both set, they're both generally the same colors, and I can already tell on my hand that the Everlasting is much more dewy. You can probably tell from here. It's much more dewy up here, and then the Coverstay is more matte. So I'm going to test it on both sides of my face to kind of give you an idea of what we're working with, and yeah. So on this side, I'm actually going to use the Everlasting one, only because here you can see I have 2 blemishes, and I feel like, of course this is just a generalization, it's not every single person, but I feel like people with acne tend to have oily skin. So if you have more oily skin, you have blemishes, I would think that you would want to use more matte foundation, because if you have a glow, sometimes that can exacerbate the look of blemishes. So I'm going to use the matte one on this side. So I just feel like it will work better and give you more of a day if you have blemishes. And this side, it's more even on the surface, so I'm going to use my favorite, the Everlasting one. Generally, people that have good skin, not always, like I said, tend to be more on like the dry or the normal side. So this one is in Buff. Okay, I'm gonna push in. I can't really even show you on camera how hard I pressed, but I really didn't press that hard. But so there's one really light layer all over. I did dip back in just a little bit for my forehead. Oh god, yes. It gives you a pretty decent coverage. Let me add a tiny bit more. I love it. And the skin tone, the match it's perfect. It's my skin tone, I think. I might go in, maybe in the summer, I might go in with sand. What I really love about this one is that even though because it has a little more of a glowy finish, if I want something more matte, but I don't want to use this one, I can just go use this one and just put powder on top. And because it, like I've mentioned many times before, because it has that moistness to it, putting powder on top, it will set it, but it will keep it from looking too dried out, so it like kind of balances. Generally with more matte foundations, I use less powder if I'm using powder, or if at all. So this side, I'm going to use the Coverstay version, the matte version in Buff. Dipping a little bit. You can, when you push in for the first time, you can tell how this puff, it's loaded with product, so. As you can see, it's squashing a little bit lighter, so we'll see if it will, oh my god, my face is too much. We'll see if it sets. Oh yeah, dude, I can already tell this is way more matte. Not way more matte, but it's just not as glowy. And there we go, on the other side, love it. Love it. I just wish it would it lasted a little bit longer for me under my eyes. Of course, but like I always say, I have to set under my eyes no matter what with powder. Even any foundation, I always try to put powder under my eyes unless it's like a foundation test. See, as you can see, right there, it's already starting to crease. But I have wrinkles, so I kind of expect it. You can really tell how this side is more matte than this. There's that bit of glow. They're both good foundations. It just depends on your skin type and like what you need out of foundation. Foundation. So there are the new shades of the Pony Effect Cushion Foundations. I hope you guys found that helpful. I'll see if I can find links to these products down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye. Mwah.